It's Talk Funny. And now, the guy who really wore me out last night. Past midnight. I mean, seriously? 200 emails in 1 hour? Here is Mark Bailey.
Welcome back to Talk Funny, Nagoyacomedy.com. You can contact us at asksportjapan@yahoo.com for our email. And our Facebook page, Nagoya Comedy. Mike Miller is here, Steve Howard, Mark Bailey. Tofie is an out Arab gay, and that's 3 hours of a show right there. But we were talking off mic about Joe Rogan, who's a podcast. We love this guy. Joe Rogan's a fellow comedian. There's kind of like a drinking game you could do. When you listen to Joe Rogan podcast, you can get it on Stitcher. You can also get our show, by the way, on Stitcher, YouTube, Spreaker.com, SoundCloud.com, iTunes, a lot of other places. Joe Rogan will be talking to a neuroscientist or I'll be talking to a NASA scientist, who plotted the Voyager trek. He plotted the entire path to Jupiter for Voyager, and then Joe will be like, really? So it has to go in that path? That's weird. So the drinking game is every time he says weird, it's like, it's weird like that the DNA is almost like, it's like your plan, and it's just so tiny, but it's so big. It's weird. It's weird. That's interesting. Wow, man. Yeah. I wish I was smoking a pot right now. And then Joe Rogan in the month of October, he took the month of October off of pot, and you would never know it because he only said it 30 times a show. I'm not on pot right now. And I don't miss it.
I'm good. A little shaky.
I don't miss it at all. I don't miss pot at all. Did I mention I don't miss pot? Did I mention I haven't smoked pot at all? I don't even think about it. I don't even think about pot. I never think about pot.
I'm not reading the studies, the news.
Stop asking me about pot. I don't even think about it.
About brownies.
I should have done that in February, not in October. Yeah.
I don't even think about pot. I mean, it's like, who even thinks about pot?
Well, what's pot?
I don't even think about marijuana.
I like pottery.
Mary Jane. There's a girl her name is Mary Jane. I don't even immediately think pot. I never think. I don't miss it, man. I don't miss it. I don't miss it at all. I don't miss it. Shut up! I don't miss it.
When's Joey Diaz getting here? When's Joey Diaz?
Joey Diaz is so funny. When I was on pot, Joey Diaz was the funniest guy, but he's not so funny now on pot.
Hashtag I don't miss it.
Okay.
Hashtag hash.
Joe, we're kidding you. Seriously, if you ever want to take a longer pod vacation, please come to Japan.
Please come to Japan.
Yeah. We're begging.
Leave your heterosexuality at customs.
We got a place for your park. His name is Tofie. We love Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, we harass you because we're dying to be mentioned on your show. Exactly. Oh my God, the hits we would get. Enough about pot. Stop asking me. Who said hit? You did. I don't even think about it.
You didn't say bong hit. You just said hit, right?
Yeah. And so, who's your favorite band? Oingo Boingo. Why did you mention bongs? I don't even think. Why would you bring that up in October when I'm not a pot? I don't even think about it.
But he's got the sensory deprivation tank. He can always go in there, but maybe it's not the same without his.
So I can't hear you very well. I'm going to pot you up. Why did you bring up pot? Why did you bring it up?
I'm trying to think of pot jokes, but I'm a well-mannered boy, so.
So good Jewish boys and maybe good Arab boys. Never. Seriously, it's not a joke. I never really got into the pot thing. Actually, I mean, it didn't do them. I think
there's a huge scene where I'm from, because the pot where I'm from is really of a good quality. Pot tourism is kind of a thing.
Yes, it is good quality. I mean, no, I don't know.
Yes, so
good quality, Steve.
Just a reminder, we could be arrested for this conversation.
Yeah. Possibly, but so where I'm from is really good quality. I was in bands and things like that, so I was offered many times to smoke, but I just didn't want to, and it's just ridiculously severe, Let's not make it. I know this is not a political podcast, but I think that things like this in this day and age, if you're not hurting anybody, you know what I mean. People here work themselves to death, so that's not good for your health.
But some of the hobbies
to death as well.
Yeah.
This is Steve's territory.
Some people may assert it is Steve's territory, but as his lawyer,
Steve Sicky, we have to be clear.
I reject that language.
I am from the Seattle area. It is perfectly legal there now. So,
when I was in radio, and I was kind of a boss, so thank Allah Yahweh that I never was offered cocaine because people were afraid I would fire them. People that had cocaine worked for me. I was never offered cocaine, and as a result, from C100 in New York, the place I worked at, all of my fellow DJs are dead of heart attacks around 50, and that's probably coke.
There's a bunch of comedians who've died recently as well of heart attacks, and some of them are probably coke-related, and musicians as well, right? Died at 60 or whatever.
Yeah. And hypothetically, if you're a boss and someone offers you some quote-unquote pot, and then it doesn't do anything for you, hypothetically, would that be stims? Would that just be a ripoff, or does pot not work for everybody?
Well, I've heard. So a lot of people, the first time they try it...
Your friend Joe told you this.
Yeah, my friend Joe told me that the first time they try it, it has very little effect. So that could have possibly been it. And then the other thing would be the THC content. So.
And then with your experience, how about the 110th time you try it? What is that like?
I don't remember.
Wow, that's weird, man. Why didn't you bring your pot, man? I don't even think about it.
I was actually 26, though, before I tried it. But my older brother and sister, I think I got plenty of contact highs when I was a kid because they smoked it. But
as Steve's lawyer, I would like to reiterate that this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. This is not considered an endorsement of anything.
Well, actually, in the Arab world, there's a whole kind of joke culture around potheads. And it's always like, oh, so a pothead did this, etc., etc., etc. So one of them, this is the translation, so one of them goes like, so a pothead goes into an art museum, and he knocks over and breaks an antique vase. And the curator goes, hey, what's wrong with you? That was from the 18th century. He's like, man, you scared me. I thought it was brand new.
That's good.
There's so many like that
That's great.
Maybe are dirtier than this podcast.
It's the Pottery Barn philosophy, right? You break it, you buy it. So it's like U.S. is trembling in their boots because Iraq's going to send them a bill, right? You break it, you buy it.
You buy it.
Oh, yeah.
That should be the way it is. I agree.
So we get a lot of questions about being an Arab in Japan. People don't. Japanese geography is not actually their. When the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, they actually thought they were bombing Guam. So that's how bad they're. But
and for the black buses that are on their way,
Mike Miller at Nagoyacomedy.com.
You don't want it with him.
The prosecutor, no.
I thought we might do your first impressions. You did. How many times have you done open mic? Once with us?
Yes.
And so I wanted to ask your impressions on that.
Do you mean how I felt about it?
Yeah, how did you feel about it? Were you nervous? How did you prepare? How did you feel later?
Well, I was watching a comedy show. I love binge watching on YouTube, and I ran out of drag queen content. Drag queens are my main source of good gay comedy. They really get me. So
RuPaul has to sleep too, biatch.
Yes. So I looked to a black women because they're like the next best thing. I found myself not laughing that much. I'm like, I could write something like this, and so I thought like, why don't I just write something down and see what happens? And I just like wrote down this paper like, oh, this is actually this is funny. I would laugh if somebody said this. I'm gonna go for it. And I wasn't nervous at all because I'm always the funny person in my group, except when I'm in Lebanon. In Lebanon, I'm extremely lame.
But you're not from Lebanon.
No, when I go to visit there, it's an accent thing. They find me completely lame. My friends are 1,000 times funnier than I am, but that's for another show. But
you're from ISIS. You're not from Lebanon. ISIS.
I thought you were from Iceland.
That's what I say to the airport. Yes, Icelandia. So I wasn't nervous at all. And what also did not make me nervous was that a bunch of friends also came to support me. So thank you everyone who came. You made the most of your evening. There's nothing really that you could have done except come to see me. And I look forward to many, many other shows with you. But I can't really control the creative process, Like some days I get the idea, some days I don't. But I'm always talking to myself at home. I'm constantly you just hear me talk, So yeah.
I think that's actually something that's interesting because I do the same thing, and I think that's one of the things we don't talking to yourself is considered like a sign of insanity or something, so people don't admit to it. But when you're a comedian, I think that's actually how you come up with a lot of jokes.
Yes,
just walking around talking to yourself. Yeah. I mean,
well, I talk to myself and I reply to myself, so we're splitting open. But I want to stop some point,
Call and response.
Yeah, except I do it in Arabic with these different personalities. So we have all these really stupid pop stars in the Arab world, and so the difference between Arab pop and English pop is that in English the lyrics can be very explicit. Like, I want to take a ride, and you just go stick. Like, what does that mean, Lady Gaga? But in Arab pop, the lyrics are very poetic. It's the way you sing them that's very suggestive. So, I want to feel love in you. I want to feel your love in me. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
Mike Miller and Nagoyacomedy.com.
Yes,
or Steve Howard and
yeah. So one of the pop stars that we idolize is her songs are like she's like the Britney Spears of the Middle East. Her name is Haifa Wahbi, and the first song that she ever did started with like her giggling like like that. and it was like, oh my god, the audacity, you know. So when I'm like cleaning around the house or something, I'm like, oh, I should have put that there. I put it here. Oops. Yeah. so I'm like, I incorporate her a lot. That was a tangent. I'm talking of with oneself. So that's.
We were impressed with your open mic. Is this your first time? Have you ever done it before?
No. Open mic for comedy, no.
You know, Japan is a very good place to start your career as a stand-up comedian.
Eventually,
For me it is, because it's so far away from people that I know, so I can use my gay jokes, you know.
Yeah.
Otherwise I'd have to do pod jokes, and I don't do pods, so.
We were impressed because a lot of open micer guys we say 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and they're like, let's do that. I'll do 12 minutes. And they, we can't invite them back. Like Steve and I went to Fukuoka, and they said, you've got 5 minutes between the two of you. And we're like, don't go over. You will never be invited back. If we go 6 minutes, we're screwed.
I think that was like Ichiman a minute you were paying there?
Yeah.
Going down to
It's like, and they said, if you go over, you're going to take away time.
10,000 yen a minute.
If you go over, you're going to take away time from the headliner and the show he's not going to do. And so that will take away time from the time he's not going to fill.
You guys did the best not show ever in Fukuoka. I was not there. No one was there.
But it's like,
you tell me it was a good show.
Well, see, if you think about it, it's like the Beatles. Paul McCartney's doing a show. He calls you up and goes, "Could you tell jokes?" Right? Yeah, I do. Could you want to do 30 seconds of my Wembley? Yeah, I do 30. You do 30 minutes. Paul McCartney's not going to call you back.
No,
right?
you're going to be assassinated.
Yeah. So when you do open mic, I've heard we've heard from listeners that they like the open mic advice that we give. So we'll repeat it. If the guy says you have 3 minutes, or the MC says you have 5 minutes, you keep it 5, and you did that. Also, what we recommend is write 10 minutes and do 5 minutes.
Exactly, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Drop out the segues and it's just bam, ba bam, ba bam,
It's
bam.
the opposite. It's write 5 minutes and do 10 minutes.
Uh-huh.
And then
And then when
there's
you're booed off the stage.
well, there's a guy that didn't headline for us in Fukuoka, and his advice is write 20 minutes and then who cares because you're not going to do any of them. Because he never showed. He showed up and he goes, well, there's nobody here, so I'm just going to do 2 minutes.
The amazing vanishing comic.
And so
He was actually a magician. He disappeared.
and he made his act vanish. Remember when he didn't do that part? It's like, you can never accuse him of plagiarism because he hasn't done anyone's jokes, including his own.
Oh.
Yeah, thank you. We were impressed because, you have what we call in comedy a comic voice.
Yeah.
It's
Thank
like
you.
the gay Arab or, the outcast, or we have Garrett that we mentioned who we love as well. He's very good, and he's more expert on Japanese culture than Japanese people are.
Uh-huh.
And that really drives them crazy, and he's a gay ex-Mormon. And that drives
Oh, I know a gay ex-Jehovah's Witness. He's a drag queen.
Yeah.
Can I plug it in?
Okay.
Her name is Miku Divine. Miku
I've
Divine.
heard of that. No, I haven't. I have never.
Well,
Mike was telling me about
Yes.
that. Does she have a coffee table? Or no.
I don't think she does, but who knows? Maybe.
We're going to wrap this up. Okay, this has been Talk Funny. Nagoyacomedy.com. We've been Mark Bailey, Steve Howard, Mike Mellon. What are we calling you, gay Arab? Tofie.
Yeah, thank you all.
Join us next week for Talk Funny on NagoyaComedy.com.